Welcome to Networking with Nathaniel, a real estate entrepreneurial podcast where I get the pleasure of talking with people all around the industry and some things to come if you stick around outside of the industry as well that are doing things at a high level. I get to pick their brains, I get to find out what they're currently doing, where they're heading, and what they're struggling with and having success with inside and outside of their businesses. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with a good friend of mine now, Jada Thoele. She has been in real estate since 2021, I believe, at this point, doing a bunch of different things now, from property managing to raising capital for people's deals. So she does a lot of different things in that space as well. We're going to jump into that shortly. But before we do so, how you doing, Miss Ma'am?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I knew that that was going to be the answer because you're always doing well. I'm doing very well myself. I I told you he was going to come to the door as soon as we started live, and he sure enough did. You may let him in if you want. Actually, no, leave him there, kiddo. Let mom do it. Okay, sidebar. Because I don't know if he has the thumb dexterity to undo
Oh,
the call, the make sure the call before we started going live. For you that guys that are listening, guys and girls. I let the dog out, Cody out, and he immediately jumped on the door as soon as we went live. So I appreciate you being here, Jada. We already have some people in the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat as we get through the conversation. I will definitely relay them to Jada. We'll put them up on the screen here as well. So, how are you doing? What are you working on? Is how we like to start the conversation, and we just take it from there.
today has been nice. It's not going as expected, but you make the most of it. You pivot. So
Yeah.
that is it's a good morning. I am working on a couple deals that we're looking to fund, actually. Hello, Derek. Good morning. Um, we actually just funded a flip over in North Carolina, and then we have a couple more in Texas, in San Antonio, and Dallas that we're looking at. So, pretty excited.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. How are you finding these deals to lend on?
Posting.
Oh, that's what I was
Posting
saying.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe not everywhere. I'm still learning how to organize myself in terms of like posting on LinkedIn and TikTok or whatever that may be. But I usually post on Instagram pretty frequently and Facebook, and so that's how I've been finding a lot of people. And really, I've just been playing the networking game, talking to a bunch of people, having so many calls. I'm learning how to expand my capabilities on those.
Okay. What do you mean capabilities? Like inside the call?
More of just not being brain dead after a whole day,
Hmm.
hours and hours of calls on end. I love people. I think it's great, but there's something about just talking to so many people. The exchange of energies, I think, even if it's virtually, is can be can be a lot sometimes. But I feel like I'm definitely more able to move throughout my day easier now than I was before.
Interesting. What are you doing now to kind of mitigate some of those energy? Yeah, there's just noises going on behind it. Some of those energy losses from those interactions, because I do feel the same sometimes. Sometimes I look at my calendar, I'm like, oh man, I'm just going to be on Zoom for 4 hours today, talking back to back to back, and it can get exhausting.
Yeah, I'm definitely still learning. The things that I like to do is I like to go to nice places to have these calls. Um, I know that it's important to have Zoom calls, so at least for me, like I like seeing people's faces and seeing reactions and all that good stuff. Um, but if I can take a walk as I'm doing it and just being outside is nice, or afterwards or before calls or whatever, kind of in between, if I can, I'm really close to where my mom works, so a lot of times I'll just go out, just say hi and chat with whoever's around, and then
Huh.
come back in. The I guess one on one, like what's it? The fact that she's so close to me, or people that I know and I can talk to are so close to me physically, definitely helps. I've learned. I've It's weird because I we have so many calls. Your own calls for hours on end in what we do, but it still doesn't. By the end of the day, it doesn't feel like I really spoke to anybody or interacted with anybody.
Wait, let me pause you, Jada. Something's going on with the audio. It sounds like all of a sudden you're underwater.
Oh no!
Wait, now not.
Oh,
Yeah, weird. Okay.
but now.
Yeah, can you go back like 10 seconds and restate? Yeah.
Pretty much, I was just saying it's interesting for me to have realized now that even if I'm on calls all day, by the end of the day, it feels like I haven't spoken to anybody, and I
Mm,
need that physical interaction.
yeah.
So that's been a huge, huge thing that I've learned recently.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. Like we do interact with a lot of different people throughout the day, but you still need like I still want to talk to Brittany at the end of the day or like hang
Hmm.
out with the kids, right? And
Hmm.
get the in person, the like what belly to belly kind of time. It's what actually re-energizes. Most people think that I'm a an out not outgoing is
Extrovert.
extrovert. Yeah, and I'm not. I'm not an extrovert at all actually. I'm an introvert. I just have the extrovert like I can put that hat on, I guess maybe. But yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'm wore out. I got, yeah. But it's funny that you mentioned. Wait, where are you located? I forget.
Los Angeles.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because I think the first time no, you were at your parents' house. I think the first time we talked too. Um, but you are very involved in your family with those relationships. That's something that I really admired when we started our um, I don't know what we called it, the 4 week healthy, wealthy family challenge. This is
So,
going back a couple months. I noticed that you were k- killing two birds with one stone kind of a thing as you were getting the family time and the exercise time by going out and taking walks with your dad, which I thought was really cool. So for to hear you mention that you're going and seeing your mom and that's what energizes you, that's really amazing.
yeah.
Um, is that something that it sounds like that you're intentional about, you time block?
I'm starting to time block better when it comes to family time and not just work. Um, I'm still trying to figure it out. I am very I believe very strongly that routines are important, and I think a lot of people take that for granted, and they really undervalue having a routine.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put that more together. I just wrote down what I wanted on Sunday,
Okay.
so, but everything was already planned for this week. So I'm like, okay, I'll just the week after this one. That's when everything will actually start. Where I wrote it down, um, but I've written it now, so at least we'll see how it goes. But after about 6 p.m., that's just family time. So I'll start
Okay.
whenever I start, probably early in the morning, and then end. And then after that, it's like I don't have anything written, but that means that I can't do any work.
Okay. So if it's work related, it goes on the calendar. If it's not work related, it's hanging out with dad and mom and
Yeah.
juggling the soccer ball. What are you up to now on that?
Not semi consistently. I'm at like 10. So
Okay. Wait, what was, oh, that was the, what is it? A dab? This is, I'm not, I think, I'm not hip and cool. I do.
oh my gosh.
Right before we hopped on, I texted Jada, hey, I gotta go potty real quick, and then I'll be good to go. And she's like, oh, the dad talk. Like sometimes I even say little boys room. Hey, where's the little? Especially when I'm out in public, where's the little boys room at? Like,
Oh my god, Nathaniel.
it just usually gets a little giggle out of people. Yeah, especially the younger kids. Like, what the heck? But are there things that? It sounds like the evening is kind of set for family time. Are there things that you're doing in the morning that is kind of prepping you for your day that maybe aren't on the calendar?
Um, Not yet. I kind of vary. Sometimes I would wake up early, like somewhere in the 4 or 5 range, and try to do Pilates. Other times, I would just wake up and kind of go straight to work. Other times, I would wake up, go outside, sit down for a couple minutes, and then start work. Um, I need to try all of them again because I have no idea what works best. Because sometimes it feels really good to, as soon as I'm up, to just start on work or start on something because it's very stimulating and it helps me wake up more. And it's kind of fun if I'm working on something that I like to do. So I wish I had a better.
No, I think that the morning routine is something that's different for everybody. And I found there's certain things that if I don't do in the morning, they end up not getting done.
Mm,
Like
like
my reading, if I don't read early in the morning, like physically read, I can listen to audiobooks, but like by the end of the day, I'm I'm exhausted. It's just going in one ear and out the other kind of a thing. And I
yeah,
like to get a morning 10-15 minute exercise, like a high intensity kind of exercise that just energizes me for the day. And I notice that on days that I don't do it, I feel a little, I don't know, sluggish, so to speak.
I could see
Uh,
that.
yeah, but I like something that I heard from Alex Hormozy is just like get up and work, right? Just get up and get what you need to get done, and then you're able to front load all this work, and the rest of the day kind of sails downhill a little bit, so to speak. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm still figuring it out. I mean, we definitely have different lives from Alex Ramosi.
yeah, right, yeah,
I feel like it may not be the healthiest. I'm just throwing that out there.
yeah,
But I feel right now like whatever I'm doing, I can do more of it. And
mm,
I just need to be a little more disciplined to actually do it and push. Um, and I can totally do things. It's just I start getting distracted and start doing too many things at once sometimes that ends up
mm,
ruining what I was trying to do.
yeah,
But I think as I'm getting more and more disciplined with what's actually on my calendar and like just doing what's on that, and I think I'll be able to kind of like what you were saying, be able to start having a little bit of a morning routine before having or starting on work. And it doesn't have to be like hours, but I like I like being awake early in the morning because it's nice to see like the sunrise. So I feel like if I'm awake at that time and just kind of chilling for a little bit and then starting work, that'd be nice.
yeah, yeah. A little bit like Derek's talking about
Like,
here.
yeah,
Just
no, I just read that. Oh my gosh.
yeah. I do one thing that we do is I get up in the morning before the kids wake up and I get a couple things, personal things done. And then I get about usually 45 minutes to an hour of work stuff done. The kids wake up, we have an hour and a half kind of morning routine,
Mm-hmm.
ending with we go for a walk.
Mm,
And this time of year, the sun's already been up for about an hour by then. But as we get closer and closer to winter now, I really enjoy that time because the birds are waking up and they're just like singing I'm glad to be alive music, and you get all of that. I mean, they're still waking up or they're still singing when we go out now, but just that fresh, like, hey, we made it through another night. It's sun, kind of energy. It's amazing. But what are the things that you're finding distracting you during your day? Is it all work related, or are there little things that I don't know, like Instagram kind of things, end up scrolling?
I would say it's mostly work related and then some Instagram stuff. With the Instagram things, I'm I mean up and I'll kind of fall in and out of
Okay.
doom scrolling sometimes. Um, but I think I just get, like a lot of fires start popping up. And so you want to, okay, I gotta put this out, I gotta put this out.
Yeah.
Um, so it's usually a lot of those. And if it's not just fires that I have to put out, then it's a lot of inquiries that I'm learning how to manage and systematize now. So um, that should be getting better soon as I'm working on my CRM to start having more automated messages. So when people have certain questions, or if people are like, "Hey, I want to send this over," it's just going to be so systematized and automated, and it's just going to be way easier to deal with, so that I can actually time block. Okay, this is the time now that I can reach out to everybody who sent in inquiries.
Okay. So these inquiries you're talking about, are they people coming in and asking to lend money, asking for lending?
Yeah, so these are generally people asking for lending services.
Okay. Yeah, so in the systems of process, I'm just using my imagination here, like a form that people fill out.
Mhm.
Is that something that you could share that I could put in live here right now, or no? Do you have that set up yet?
No, it's
Okay.
currently it's under progress.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you guys are interested in getting that there, you can reach out to Jada on any, especially the Tiki Talkie one. Um, reach out to Jada. I would like to kind of, well, I don't know if we should go further into the lending right now, or kind of,
It's up to you. It's your podcast.
yeah, let's save that a little bit, and let's talk about what's kind of led you to this point. 2021, you started in real estate. What did you start doing?
I believe the first thing I really started doing was wholesaling. I had
Okay.
no idea what it was, no idea what anything was. It was an interesting time. I had So I was in school at the time. I was going to college for mechanical engineering,
Oh,
not really wanting to go into it. I was just getting financial aid, and I was interested in everything that I was learning. It was just very conceptual, and I would rather be doing things with my hands. So I was not too involved and enthusiastic about where I was. And so when I found PACE, I'm pretty sure I saw some like 18 or 20-year-old. I was like, I have a rental property and I get income from it. And I thought that would be awesome.
yeah.
So I started looking into real estate on YouTube and uh, listening to real estate attorneys talking about LLC structures and all that jazz. And one of them had PACE on. And I mean, like all of us, we find PACE and kind of go into the rabbit hole a little bit. Um, and it was interesting, but that first podcast that I saw with him, the thing that really made me want to actually look deeper and join Sub Two kind of right then and there was, um, like he mentioned Sub Two and seller financing, but when he mentioned how he helps people get out of pre foreclosure, that was what sold me. That was the thing that really I felt like, okay, I can do good. That like I'm not just a slumlord or anything like that, because um, a lot in the area that I was in, a lot of times I had to um it's just a lot of people don't have the best, I would say, not the best intentions, but I think over time people just get more relaxed, and if they have rentals, it's like, who cares about the tenants? Or if you're a tenant, you're like, who cares? This isn't my house. I don't rent from it. So I really appreciated the fact that it seemed like a just nice exchange, like to help somebody get out of pre foreclosure. Both people must feel amazing. So
Yeah.
I didn't go down that route, but it was just the fact that that feeling, that energy from just saying that he'd help people. That was the thing that kind of made me take the plunge. And then I started wholesaling. I joined a group, but it was a group of newbies. We had no idea what to do. We
Okay.
were training a VA correctly, and it was just a lot. So I quickly fell off of that. But my first deal was a wholesale deal, actually wholesale land in California. And then the next one, I helped dispo a deal and find a buyer for a property like an hour away from Houston. So that was interesting.
Wait, an hour away from where?
Houston.
Oh, okay. I heard New Zealand, and I figured that that wasn't right. Um, yeah. So I love that you're, one thing that I've learned about you in our interactions and seeing your posts and stuff is that you're always trying to figure out how you can serve people. um, right? This, I might not have the right product for you or whatever, but let's have a conversation so I can really figure out what you're needing and point you in the right direction if I'm not the right person to help you get there. That's one thing that I've really admired about you, is that you're kind of always leading from that servant kind of leadership role. And so, we do get a bad rap sometimes as real estate investors, that we're just the big millionaire person that's, taking advantage of people by renting at high rates and selling the high prices and taking advantage of rising markets and all those things. But what you connected you was that you were able to, you saw a path to being able to actually help people. Oh yes, I can make money and do this as a thing, but I can also, fulfill some needs in a marketplace. from sellers.
Mhm.
The fan got me right now. um, yeah. Uh, the Jada's on her laptop right now. If you can hear the fan, I will hopefully edit it out and post, but for us live right now, don't touch it. We messed with it, and yeah, she's like, I'm just gonna hold the laptop for an hour. No. Oh,
I can
so
do it.
you started wholesaling. How long? Oh, before I ask that, you started in 2021. Was that like you joined Sub 2 and started in real estate, or were you already doing some real estate? No, you
Yeah.
joined and okay.
I joined, and that was the first time I tried anything.
Yeah. How
Um,
long did you stick with wholesaling before you realized that that wasn't the path for Jada?
um, so I joined in September, and I think I had been wholesaling or tried to wholesale until February. So January is when I got my first two deals, and then after that was nothing. Um, and I think in early February, that's when I was looking at other things. I think I was looking into a lot of capital raising and kind of connecting. But again, at the time, I didn't know anything. Um, and I didn't know how to learn about all of this.
Mm,
So I didn't really go anywhere with that. I think it was around March or April. I think April. That's when a couple, so two students had started this challenge, this Airbnb arbitrage challenge. And so that was the thing that really clicked for me in the beginning. So that's where I kind of took off, and I yeah, I was able to learn a lot. And that's where the property management started.
yeah, would you explain to everybody what the Airbnb arbitrage looks like?
Yeah. So essentially, what Airbnb arbitrage is just subletting. So you rent a property from an owner, and then you sublet it and you do Airbnb out of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a short-term rental. It could be a mid-term or a long-term rental. I'm It's usually said Airbnb arbitrage just because you're utilizing the Airbnb platform.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. The way that I went about it was I pretty much just found properties on Zillow. I would look and think, okay, where would I want to go if I were going to rent a short-term rental? So I was in LA and I wanted something close by. Went to LA, called a bunch of landlords, said, hey, I'm interested in doing a bit of a longer lease. Um, would that be okay? Like maybe 1 or 2 years. And as a owner, you're like, hell yeah, I love long term tenants. That's
yeah.
great. And so once they said, yeah, I would go into, okay, cool, that's great. I house traveling professionals. I think this would be a great place. Are you open to that? And then start kind of going into their concerns. Um, Sometimes I would let them ask it. Sometimes I would just straight go into their concerns, like, oh, well, if you're worried about any kind of property damage, we have insurance on the property. If you're worried that we're not going to maintain the property well, this is our business. So we want to make sure that we make money on it. And to do that, we have to keep with the property as best as we can. And so that will usually make us one of the better candidates in terms of maintenance, because who else would take care of your property as well as a business would, bringing in
Yeah.
cleaners weekly? So that was kind of the thing that would help.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. Did you offer a higher rate than these people were asking for rent?
No, I would actually try to structure a lower rent
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
because of all the I guess the security benefits that I saw. I
Yeah.
would that's where I would go. I would go because one, I'm a longer term tenant.
Yeah.
Two, I'm going to have great insurance on the property. Three, I'm going to be maintaining it well. I think there were a couple other things I can't think off the top of my head. This was back in 2022, but yeah, I've actually negotiated some of the rent down.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, that is another thing that I've learned. Quick tip for people:
Yeah.
if you're trying to do Airbnb arbitrage, don't go above market rent, and maybe don't even go at market rent. You want to be below that, because if for any reason, if you're trying to do a short-term or mid-term rental and it's not working, you want to be able to kind of fall back on long-term rentals. And if you're already at market rent, you're just going to be paying out of pocket.
Yeah. Hmm. I by showing these other benefits that you're going to be maintaining the property, you're going to have that higher insurance just in case anything happens, right? It
Mhm.
kind of makes it a little bit easier for you to pitch the lower. Well, and the like 2 or 3 year lease, right? They're just going to be guaranteed. They're going to be locked in for rent for the next couple of years. As landlords in the long term rental space, that's pretty ideal. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just going to cash flow for 3 years. Okay, sweet,
Yeah.
donezo. Is this something that you're still doing right now?
No. Well, yes and no. So I am maintaining some of the properties that I started with,
Yeah.
but I am not looking to scale that at all
Okay.
anymore.
Is there yeah? What reasons did you leave that model? It seemed like it was working.
Yeah, it was. I'm just not very keen at the moment on the short-term rental model, and it's just a lot. Hospitality, the hospitality industry
Yeah.
definitely takes a lot of work, and I would say it takes a lot of systems. Great systems, having great help if you have virtual assistants or whatever that may be, maybe an operational uh, partner. But that definitely took a lot of my time, and with the amount that I had, because I started with three in 2022, and then I bumped that up to 15 in 2023 for a while. The systems were not there, so I
Okay.
went back down to three, and yeah, just from that, I learned that it's going to take a lot more time to create the systems that I want, and I just didn't have the desire to do that at that time. I felt like I wasn't. Um, to me, it didn't feel as worth it to put that much work into something if I don't even own the property and I'm not able to get depreciation and all
Yeah.
those benefits. So I didn't really want to continue.
Yeah, that's one reason for other reasons as well that we've stayed away from the arbitrage space. It's like I want to own the properties. I'm in this for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that arbitrage isn't a great option for people because it seems like at least that it's a pretty low barrier of entry.
Oh yeah, that's
You
why I
know,
looked into it.
yeah.
I
Um,
I furnished the first house that I got for I think less than $500.
wait, what?
Yeah, great. My mom's here; she's in the background, but her and my cousins and my aunts were badasses, and so we um, we ended up renting a U-Haul truck for like a day or two, and
Okay.
just we were on Facebook, Craigslist, OfferUp, I think the neighbor like random apps, and we're just finding as much as we could. We found and making sure that it's in good condition too. Like I'm not gonna buy rundown furniture
Right.
pieces. We found couches, bed frames, beds, um, a stove, fridge. We found pretty much everything. I think the only thing that we had paid for by the end of it was a table, um, and I think the fridge. Yeah, the table and the fridge were like the only things.
Yeah, and the U-Haul.
Hmm.
That's amazing. So yeah, wow, I didn't even know that you could get free stuff like that all over the
Yep.
place. You just have to be willing to go take it away from the person that wants to get rid of it. Uh, oh man, I had a good question there. What did you? We're gonna move on. Okay, so
Yeah,
Airbnb
sure.
arbitrage.
Ask
No,
it.
no. If it comes back, I'll ask it. Yeah, yeah. From the Airbnb arbitrage, what's next? Are you now moving into the capital raising?
Yeah. So
Okay.
from that was back in 2022. I realized at the end of it or beginning of 2023, I didn't really want to scale it. So that's where I started getting more to. I went back into wholesaling and learning about that, and then really actually getting into communities and understanding the power of sub two and the power of just going to conferences and meeting people in person. And so from that, that's where I started getting into the capital raising space and the lending space. Um, and so that's pretty much the direction that I want to go in, or that I am currently going in, which is really fun. I feel very strongly about working with other investors because the investors that I work with, people like you, it's people like Derek. It's a lot of people who are trying to do a lot of good that will benefit everybody in the making. So that is very fun for me.
These Okay, wait. So 2020. So you've been at this for a couple of years now, right? Or is this end of 2022? You said. Um,
With the capital raising, that's been within this last year.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then before that, it kind of merged together was wholesaling and capital raising.
Yeah. So you've dabbled in wholesaling a couple times now. I guess what the heck? Why did you go back after not sticking with it the first time?
I wanted a challenge.
Okay.
It was at the time my partners and I were we just wanted more active income, and we when Pace was doing this last December, he was doing an 18-minute challenge, which was
Okay.
essentially telling people you should practice something for 18 minutes a day, because if you do it for a year, you become exponentially great at it. So a lot of people wanted to become closers, and so that's where we ended up merging groups with a couple of the other Houston regional leaders, and so we all just had this massive wholesaling team. And after a while, that was just fun to be a part of. So it was nice to be able to help people when they didn't know what to say on the phones. It was nice when people needed some motivation, um, and we would have a lot of meetings that were just optional that people could join. So there would be sales trainings. That we would be talking about mindset. We'd be just kind of hanging out sometimes to build that camaraderie virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the question that I wanted to ask, but I did. Going way back, is you said you went to school to be a mechanical engineer. What school did you go to?
Oh, California State University of Los Angeles. So
Okay.
Cal State.
Yes, Cal State. We went to Cal State Long Beach, both Brittany and I, as mechanical engineers as well.
What?
As you were as you were kind of explaining your story, I felt the same way, that I wanted to be in there working with things and creating things, and I didn't see a path to that, and that's what kind of I don't think I was going to end up as an engineer anyway, but um, there were other callings for me. But so now you're into capital raising.
Mhm.
Are there specific types of deals, specific type of lenders that you're, I don't know, kind of honed in and focused on?
It's definitely not just a super specific niche. I'm kind of getting there, but I've been able to help wholesalers as well as flippers, as well as people looking to buy and hold properties. So we lend on Jesse. We lend on EMD. We lend on double closing. And I feel like a lot of people do that, and it's great. I'm actually working with more double close lenders and EMD lenders, so that we can all just kind of round robin and work with each other on these small deals, so that we know how it is to work together, so that when we get big deals, we'll know how it is to work with each other.
Okay.
And then I also help other investors. Really, why I like lending is because I feel like I'm helping everyday people get into real estate and get into what they actually want to do. So I'm talking to a lot of flippers, a lot of experienced and not experienced flippers. I'm lending on those deals, and then I'm lending on a lot of deals where people are kind of doing the burst strategy. So buying, and they're using our funds to buy the property, and they rehab it, and then they refinance it through another lender. They do something with DSCR loans, so that they can a DSCR loan is kind of a loan to help to lend on rental properties specifically, which makes it so great for people that are trying to buy rental properties. uh, so that's those are the main things that I help with.
Um, as far as I'm going to make a little thing there for the debt service coverage. Oh boy, um, ratio ratio loans. How does a fix and flipper, or how does a burst strategy investor, how do they come work with you? Um, are you providing the whole funds? Are you like doing the gap between what a hard money lender is going to do?
Mm-hmm.
How does that look like? What does that look like?
So generally, we like to be the main first lender,
Okay.
and then I like to try to help the borrowers find the other lender. So if they need gap funding, if they need a bridge loan, or whatever that may be, I'm doing my part to go to meetups and conferences and whatever. I build relationships with people that do specifically that. So I have a handful of second position lenders, of people that like to do gap funding,
Okay.
people that do gap funding, especially in Texas and North Carolina, so that I'm able to kind of help with the whole process.
So you use the word we very specifically. It sounds like that when you say we, you mean you and your team are actually lending on the deal
Yeah.
in first position. And
Yep.
then through your capital raising efforts, you're able to bring in somebody else that's going to lend in second position.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting. Okay, what? Wow. I think I already maybe knew some of this stuff, but it's all coming back.
Yes.
As far as your guys' lending requirements, what does that kind of look like? Um, you know, where do you like to be as far as loan to value goes? Um, I know that we don't need to talk about rates and stuff like that, but kind of giving a picture of, um, the loan to value, the time frame that you're looking for, so people might be able to go, oh, this would be a good fit for me.
Yeah. I mean, I would say a 2 week time frame is probably good, but we've worked with like a week and shorter before. Um, it really depends on the deal, but I would say if you're trying to buy cash, like if you're trying to buy for a flip or trying to buy a rental property and you just need the cash, it's good to make sure that you're not too close to the market value. So I would say probably generally it's 70% or less, but I
Okay.
would say maybe 80% of the after repair value. And if anybody needs help with understanding what all these terms are, or how to find the after repair value, the ARV, or how to comp properties and make sure whatever that may be, reach out to me. My handle is my name anywhere that you can find people. But that's something that I've actually been helping a lot of people with as well. I'm kind of teaching them how to underwrite, how to comp their deals so that um, a lot of times people will lock something up too high and they don't realize it. And there's easily room for negotiation. So they just need a better understanding of where they need to be at. And so I've been able to help a lot of people with that lately. So yeah, I would say really just bring the deals and we'll figure it out together.
Yeah, that's where I was alluding to earlier when I said, while you do have these things that you're kind of focused on, you're just trying to help as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Um, are you doing these underwriting comping things one on one, or I feel like I've seen that you host a Zoom? Is that an ongoing thing? What does that look like?
Yeah, so me and my partner Chai, we host an underwriting Zoom every Saturday, and soon we're going to be making that twice a week. So we'll have one on Saturday and then another one on a weekday, so that more people can join.
Okay.
So yeah, for the moment, it's a group underwriting session, and if people want to do one-on-ones, then we're gonna start being able to open that up as well. Um, so yeah, for now, it's kind of impromptu. If anybody needs help, I'll try to help here and there whenever I have time in between meetings or in between things that I'm doing. Otherwise, they can get our full attention on Saturdays right now. Saturdays at 12 p.m. Central.
Yeah. I love that. There's a benefit to both for sure, but I like the group one because even if you don't have a specific deal, you're able to come in and see how people are underwriting and comping other people's deals. And so you get a benefit from that. And
Yeah.
being able to see multiple people, right? You and Chai, how you look at things, because underwriting can be very, uh, straightforward, but it also there's nuances to it, and especially in comping, right? It's
Hmm.
while we can have a checklist of things to go through, sometimes you have to play with the it's like a little bit more of an art, I guess. You have to play with your criteria a little bit to be able to get an accurate picture, right? You might, while you want to be as close to the house as possible, sometimes, well, shoot, nothing has sold right there for 12 months. So I got to be able to open it up and kind of work it. Yeah. Typically, if nothing's sold in that area for 12 months, that's kind of a little bit of a yellow flag, but yeah, be wary. Is it just going back to your socials, the Tiki
Yeah.
Talkie, that is the best way for people to get on that Zoom?
Yeah, I post about the Zoom pretty frequently. Anybody can reach out to me if they ever want the link, but I have a link tree on these platforms, so it'll be in like my bios. So just click on the link tree and it'll have that there.
Love it. Yeah, it's easy
The
enough because it's just
registration
your
form.
name. Yeah. Um, as we're kind of approaching the last quarter of the hour here. Um, yeah, it's blazing by. Um, where is Jada going over the next, 4 months, closing out this year, and what does 2025 look like as far as like a goals and the things that you want to hit standpoint?
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
good. Wow. Well, I don't have a set number. I don't know if I should, maybe. Um, but definitely going to be upping the lending services, um, because it's, again, so fun. And more than anything, it is so rewarding to be able to help just so many people. I've helped so many people get into to deals lately. So I want to do more of that. Um, oh, Derek, that's nice.
Yeah.
Um, and then so I'm raising capital on multiple uh, fronts, I guess. And one of them is I'm working with a lot of people who want to become private money partners in deals with me specifically. So I'm actually looking for um, good deals in Texas, in Dallas, and Houston specifically, so that I can work with anybody that brings me the deal, and I can work with my private money partners so that we can buy these properties together. I can show them how it is. I mean, I'll manage the property, but if they have any questions, I would like to show them how it is to manage the property, what I'm looking at, what they need to watch out for if they ever wanted to go about this on their own. So I'm looking to buy one property at least by the end of this year, and then help lend on a lot more. And then next year, it's going to be kind of a lot more of the same two things, a lot more expanding in the capital raising space, because I think our lending services are really good, and I think we're getting a good hold on those. Uh, and then I want to buy maybe like 3 to 5 homes next year.
You heard it here. 3 to 5 is where, let's say five.
Hold me to it.
Yeah. So 1.25 per quarter.
Yes,
Oh,
1.25 house.
yeah. 1.25 house per quarter. Like one and a tiny little house. And then slowly you'll construct them together. Yeah. And that's what you said, Dallas and Houston.
Mhm.
Is there anything about those markets that has drawn you to them?
That's where my PMPs are.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they want to do something local to them,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are actually open to long-term rentals and mid-term rentals and co-living situations. So um, I love the fact that we're going to be able to provide housing for people,
Yeah.
and that I'm going to be able to help them when it comes to understanding home ownership. So,
Yeah. That's one thing that has drawn us a lot to the private money partnerships is that we run into a lot of people that have money, they want to invest in real estate, but they don't
mhm,
have the time to really dive into it, to get the understanding. And as a partner, we're able to open up the curtain,
yeah,
right? Give them a peek behind the curtains and say, hey, this is the process. This is our process from start to first people in the house, right? Start
mhm,
to property manage. And so it allows them to get that, like earn while you learn, so to speak.
mhm,
Uh, and then, yeah, they're owners in the property, right? From a lending standpoint, as a private money lender, there are benefits to that because you're turning your money over a little bit more often, maybe. Typically, you might get a little bit higher ROI or cash on cash, but the other benefits of being a partner, the appreciation over a long time, the depreciation that you're able to get from the tax, from the tax perspective, and then just like learning. Typically with the private money lender, it's like just give the money, get a return, don't talk to me anymore.
yeah,
Um, right. The private money partner is more of a I want to learn and I want to kind of get a bigger feel for this so I can go do other things on my own afterwards. Um,
exactly. And
which is
being a huge relationship person, are you okay?
Yeah, I got like a little thing,
Oh no.
headache kind of thing. Yeah.
Um, Being a big relationship person that I am, I like the private money partnerships, um, because I like teaching, I like working together. And again, that means that we'll know how it is to work together on one project so that when more projects come up and better opportunities come up, that we'll know how it is to work with each other. And then I'll be able to bring more and more people into these opportunities because I've worked with them before. I've
Yeah.
taught them what I know, and then they've learned, and now they're teaching me what they know. And it's just win, 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 and it's a
Yeah.
cycle of wins.
I love that you mentioned that because it's not a one-sided, like the private money partner is just the one learning. We're learning as well along the way, like how this person wants to communicate, and, and how, I mean, like email, text, calls, how often they want to communicate, right? What
Yeah.
are they looking for as far as the data? Oh, it like went silent for a second. What are they looking for as far as the data that helps them do their due diligence? Because if I can hash that out on deal one, then deal two and three and four, if we go that route,
Mhm.
are easier and smoother process, and we can just
Mhm.
focus on, like, let's grow this thing together, right? So I love that you mentioned that. Derek did have a comment here. Is that in the future?
That is in the future. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely coming. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I want to make sure we get to the the question that is going to put you on the spot right now.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Okay, wait. Before we get to that question, what are the hurdles that you're encountering right now that you foresee, being kind of things that you need to navigate to get to that one property by the end of the year and to get to that one and a quarter going into next year?
It may sound interesting or weird, um, but I would say it's kind of the organization and routine setting. Um, I talk to a lot of people. I make sure that I am as organized as I can be. But I think right now it's it's not quite to the effect yet where I feel like I'm always there. Like, okay, I'm focusing on this block, focusing on this block next, and this. Because I had mentioned earlier, I'm putting out a lot of fires and doing a lot of different things that I know I can regulate, and I'm in the process of doing so. I think that'll help me focus way more so that when I'm actually connecting with people, I'm full on connecting. I'm able to make the connections in my mind, like, oh, if they need, whatever they may need, I know somebody who can help that, or whatever they need, I can help that. I can help them with that. Um, yeah, I foresee that, or that is my current obstacle that I'm overcoming because when I'm able to focus more and more on what needs to be done, I'm able to definitely kind of excel. And so right now I'm getting a lot of lead flow, and I'm not dropping the ball on them, but I know it can go smoother. So I think it's that I'm just learning more and more how to make things more smoother.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process, right? It's something that we take week by week, sometimes month by month, and quarterly for sure, right? Like,
Hmm.
what did we do this past quarter? What was going well? What was not going well? What could we improve and do better? And the
Yeah.
time blocking thing is it can be super difficult, especially when you have lots of different things coming at you. If you just pack your calendar, if you pack your schedule, it's like, well, what am I gonna get rid of? I can't cancel appointments on people the day of. That's kind of rude, right? Like, oh, do I not call this property manager right now, or do I not send an EMD, right? This other thing came up that seems like it's a higher priority. So leaving little windows and gaps where, okay, I can just check emails or do something to fill in the time right now if nothing has popped up that needs my immediate attention, I
Yeah.
think is helpful as well. Like, I want to see a full calendar when I wake up in the morning, right? And I do my best to pack the calendar, but
Yeah.
um, leaving those little gaps where it's like, all right, this, something came up, I got to take care of this now. it,
Hmm.
it it relieves a little bit of the stress, at least, of what do I juggle here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that. If you need help with those processes, I would love to be a resource for you on that. That's something that
Thank you.
I'm constantly iterating and trying to improve myself. And I think that my time blocking is fairly good at this point. Okay, the moment of truth. You ready?
Yeah.
What is your biggest life lesson at this point, and how did you learn it?
It's so funny. You asked me 40 minutes ago, and I
Yeah.
still totally forgot about it. Um, it's difficult to choose one, um, just because I feel like I've been fortunate enough to have just so many different experiences growing up and having had the parents that I had. I feel like I'm very fortunate. They would talk to me about a lot of different things. We've spoken about the importance of honesty and truth in a society and in relationships. We've spoken about being mindful of your own emotions, mindful of other people, and so it's it's a little difficult to choose from the list that I'm thinking of growing up. I'm going to choose mindfulness
Okay.
because that's been the theme this week for me in my life. Um, I I didn't grow up. In high school and a little bit out of high school, my mom was very adamant about me reading the book, The Four Agreements. And so I have read that book. It talks about how you should be implementing these four things into your life. One of them is to be impeccable with your words. The second is to not assume. Third is to not take anything personally. And lastly is to always do your best. And although this may not be a life lesson, uh, I feel like it's really important, and all of that kind of goes into the thing of you want to be mindful. I think everybody should try to be as mindful as they can be, and not just be stuck on autopilot throughout the days. And I feel like a lot of people, especially where I live, are kind of in that realm. And so it's nice to have read the book so many times, and I've read it so many times because we kind of have a book club. Um, with a lot of youth that come in and work at my mom's nonprofit, we make sure that they read this book all together first, and I'm the one that's kind of leading that always. And so I make sure that they have discussions and that they understand now, what do you feel like it means to not take anything personally? And if they can't think of anything, then we kind of go into examples like, if your mom comes home pissed that you didn't take the chicken or something, and she's kind of yelling at you, um, you might start feeling like, oh my God, I'm terrible, or whatever it may be. But maybe she wasn't in the best mood, and she had a headache or whatever it may be, and she wasn't able to be all there to understand, okay, well, this is a child that I'm working with, and they'll forget and whatever. So um, I think it's really, really helpful to understand that everybody is in their own minds, and everybody is still improving, and to just be able to work with other people and understanding that, um, I guess the two things that, or everything from the four agreements, I feel like that has just been incredibly helpful in my life.
Yeah. As soon as you said the mindfulness and can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. There was a helicopter.
Oh, okay. You muted yourself. Okay. As soon as you started talking about mindfulness, I immediately was like, how can I apply this to my toddlers, and how can I be better as a parent, right? Because they're toddlers. A lot of the times they're doing little things, and especially with my older one, because he's big and he's a little bit advanced as far as his speech and his reading and things like that. And so sometimes I treat him a little older than he is, right? And being mindful about he's a little human and he's going through his own things. And how can I respond in kind and help him realize what is going on inside of him at the same time? And so I love that you brought that up. And then, you're talking about when we're interacting with other adults as well, right? Everybody's going through their own things in each day, and they're bringing all that and all their past experiences to your interaction, right? I think of like, somebody cuts you off when you're driving in a car and you honk and you get all pissed and you give them the finger, and now you're all irritated, and if you aren't mindful of that and are able to just let that go, it's affecting you.
Yeah.
The other person's gone. They don't even realize, or they don't even care. Their day is not affected by it, but now you're allowing that to affect you going forward. So um, yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. And which leads us, the four agreements has got to be on the list, of course. Do you have any other books that you would recommend? I typically am like 1 to 3 books, either
Oh,
that moved you as an investor, moved you from a mindful a mind frame standpoint. There's a word there,
set.
mindset. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, got it.
I
you
would
know,
say the four agreements.
yeah,
I like just those reminders of, don't. don't assume. Don't take things personally. I am constantly reminding people and having people remind me of all the things that I've read in that book. There have been times where I'm not super tired, but I can tell I'm a little lazy, and I'm like, I'll just do that later on, or like, I'm doing something, but I don't need to put all this effort into it, and then I'm like, oh, fourth agreement, always do your best. I'm like, it's fine. I can do my best. I may not be working on something that's building my career right now, but if I'm helping somebody, I want to make sure that I'm doing my best for them. Like, why would I not? So
Yeah.
I love that book. I also am very keen on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think that that's great for anything. I think it's great for your business. It's great for your mindset. It's great for your personal routines and such. Yeah, I think that's just an incredible book.
Yeah.
Um,
It's been a while since I don't know if, I think we have like an old original or copy of it. Not like original, but like an old version of it. And then we have it on, not Audible, but one of the
yeah,
audio things. Yeah, we have multiple different platforms we listen to audiobooks on. I appreciate you being here. Are there any parting words for people that are maybe just starting out? A lot of our audience is people that are, just getting new to real estate. Uh, Things that maybe helped you kind of go along.
I think going to more things, whether it be Zooms or meetups, where people are actually doing stuff, is the thing that I recommend the most. You can connect with a lot of people, and that's great. But if you don't know what anything means, like if you don't know what actually goes into a whole
Oh, we lost her. How the heck did we make it this whole time? Well, I guess we're going to wrap it here. We lost her right at the end there. I think she was, going on the route of meeting people that are doing deals and meeting people that are doing the thing that you're wanting to do. At least this is where my mind's going, um, and getting around the right people. Right, we are the product of the 5 people that we surround ourselves with. Um, so surround yourselves with the right people. It's tough sometimes. We have to push people away that are not serving our needs isn't the right, but sometimes, the negativity from other people's can affect us. So that was networking with Nathaniel with Jada Thoele. That was a pleasure. She's got a lot to offer you guys. If you want to connect with her, I will put her social medias there as you can go connect. I think Facebook, Instagram are her two go-tos. TikTok is up there, but connect with her. She's got a lot of resources. She's got a lot of value to give. And if you couldn't tell, she just wants to help people out. She wants to help you get deals done in one way or another. If she doesn't have if she's not directly able to help you out, she knows a lot of people that are able to help you out. Hey, if you're needing help getting deals done, if you're stuck in the mud, if you're just trying to get yourself to the next level, I hold a Zoom weekly on Thursdays called Helping Hands Hour, designed to get you unstuck. Come in, ask questions, network, role play, whatever you really need. That's what we're here for. We have a great group of people that come in weekly and are getting deals done. If you want, you can go to nathanielhovsepian.com and you can find the link to register for that there. Until next week, we're here live every Wednesday at noon Eastern time until October comes around. There's going to be some changes in my life. Baby number 3 is coming on, and we're going to probably pre-record one. They'll still be dropping on Wednesdays at noon, though. It was a pleasure.